You ever been cut off in traffic and you thought, what a jerk? Or you thought, I really ate bad today. Or you thought, this dress makes me look really fat. I don't feel good in this. Or you get in an argument with your spouse or your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and you think, gosh, what they said is they're just rude and disrespectful. Well, all of those are judgments. And we judge everything all the time without thinking about it. We judge everything to be good or bad or right or wrong, or we judge it to be difficult or easy or pretty or ugly, cool or not cool, rude or polite. And we become attached to our own outlook. And then we judge any outlook that diverges from our outlook with a negative interpretation or evaluation. Our society has taught us and trained us to categorize and compare all the time. So tonight, let's take a look at how our judgments steal our peace and our joy in our life, and how they damage our relationship with ourselves and with our loved ones. So before we really jump in, I want you to go ahead and go to ConnieJonesCoaching.com and look on the resources page, and you will see the download available for you tonight, the worksheet that goes along with tonight's video that will help you probe into and take a look at the personal, take a look at your life personally and how judgments are affecting you and how you can begin to take some steps to stop that and to take back your life from these judgments that rob us of our and steal us of our joy and our peace and our relationships. So let's take a look now at why judgments rob us of our life and steal joy and peace from our everyday. The first thing is that our judgments create pain and suffering. Pretty powerful words. They create pain and suffering. So if you judge a situation as bad, you instantly feel bad. If you have a thought or an emotion that is awful, that feels awful, that brings up this awful feeling, then that awfulness becomes a reality to you. So to judge situations or circumstances, or to believe that they're good or bad, is evidence that we don't have faith in a greater intelligence, that something is running the universe other than us, and that everything is just random, and we're going to feel pretty bad about ourselves and about our situation, and we're going to lose hope, and we're going to be stuck in our suffering if we allow the judgments to remain. So they create pain and suffering that is unnecessary. 2, judgments create conflict in our relationships, and they affect intimacy. So creating conflict and interrupting our intimacy, or negatively affecting our intimacy in our relationships is pretty strong and powerful, and that judgments have that much effect. But if you judge a person, whether it be yourself or your loved one, that person stops becoming a person, and you become immediately disconnected from them. You become separate from them in some way. You disengage from them. They become a concept to you at that point. A right or a wrong, or a disrespectful, or a rude, rather than a person that you love. That's how quickly judgments create that separation in our relationships. And that creates a power differential. So when we make a judgment about what someone says or does, or what they're thinking, then we are saying that we have the power and that we have the right to determine what is good or bad or right or wrong in general. And that gives us a whole lot of power that oftentimes we don't deserve. Most of the time too, our judgments come from a reactive place inside of us. And that reactive place is often being triggered by a wound that we have, or an insecurity, or a need that we're not aware of, an unhealed place. And so if we're coming from that reactive place, we're immediately separating and disconnecting from the person that we love the most, or from ourselves. We create a separation and a disconnection from ourselves, and we're reacting out of a wounded, frustrated, unhealed place. So instead of judging people, ourselves, or our circumstances, we just need to learn to allow them to be. And we're going to talk about this in a few minutes about how to begin to take back your life. But it's important to allow someone to just be who they are and accept who they are, and stay engaged with them. And really, and I tell this to my married couples all the time, they want to immediately go to a judgment. Well, what he said was just rude and disrespectful, rather than staying engaged with and hearing what he or she is really trying to say, and believing the best about them, and actually hearing and understanding. And oftentimes, even the next step, validating. That's where conflicts will not be exacerbated, and they'll be resolved within ourselves and within our relationships. So judgment has that finality piece attached to it. And so that power differential, along with that finality piece, makes judgments pretty powerful and pretty separating, and can really affect our relationships negatively. Thirdly, judgments limit our reach. They limit what we are open to receive. This one was a big one for me when I realized that I was thinking of these things and just sitting down and looking at the impact and judgments in my own life. And I realized, and vulnerably here, I realized that most of my suffering, most of the things that I'm miserable about, are because I'm making a judgment about a situation or about myself or about someone in my life. And it's actually it's shutting me off and keeping me closed down, so that I'm not even available to be able to see what is available to me. I'm not able to it limits what I'm able to receive and accept. It limits all the blessings and all the gifts that are trying to get to me every single day, and all of the new relationships and all of the love that is available to me in abundance around me that I can't see because I'm closed off. Because what happens is that judgments create a dense negative energy in and around us. They close these doorways so that we are not able and open to see the good things in our lives. They hinder our creative energy. They close us off and they prevent allowing. So we actually get stuck in this point of view that is very limiting and very small-minded. Judgments are condemning and shaming, so they don't feel very good. And judgments help perpetuate the lies that we believe about ourselves, the lies that we believe about others, and the lies that we believe about God, and the lies that we believe about our life. And that creates more suffering. So when we have those lies, and lies are a dense, stuck energy that actually it's energy that really gets stuck in our body. And before long, if it stays there, it keeps us playing small. It keeps us in fear and shame, and it becomes a contracting kind of energy. And before long, it manifests as illness. It manifests as disease. It manifests as pain. It manifests as depression, anxiety, panic attacks. That's how powerful these judgments are. So, how do we stop? How do we stop something that's been so habitualized, that has become such a part of us, such a strong part of us, and that we don't even think about it? How do we stop these judgments from limiting our experience in life, and from damaging our relationships, and from stealing our peace and our joy? Well, there are a couple of things. So, first of all, we have to learn to watch. We have to learn to allow. We have to learn to be present. When I say watch, it's about noticing. Noticing and allowing just gives the energy around you a sense of spaciousness. It allows the peace inside of you to arise rather than staying closed off. You become actually free from the situation. And really spontaneously, that situation becomes less miserable and a little bit more pleasant in the allowing. When we resist something, that makes it even more of a struggle, and it becomes more of a suffering experience, rather than watching the situation, allowing that person to be who they are, noticing what's going on. Notice what goes on inside of us. Notice what goes on outside of us. Notice what's going on within that other person. Stay in the moment, stay present, and don't make those snap judgments that was rude, or he meant to do that, or he cut me off, or I ate bad. And instead, let's learn to watch it without judgment. As we do, that thought or that energy, or that the negative energy, or the experience, or the feeling even, begins to weaken, and the pain energy never forms. So you're allowed to be free in it, and it just opens everything up, and judgment stays out. So the second thing that we need to do is we need to learn to live intuitively. We need to listen to our bodies. We need to listen to our hearts. We've got to be still and present to be able to do that. We need to understand and begin to be aware of and choose what is in line with who I am, and what's in my heart, and what's in line with who I am and where I'm going in my life. What do I need, and what do I really want in this moment? Again, it's about staying present and being aware. Ask yourself some questions in these moments. Does this thing that I'm thinking and feeling, or does that experience I'm having, does it expand my life? Does it expand me? Does it expand my energy? Does it contract my energy? Does it make me small? Does it put me in fear? Does it put me in shame? Or if I do this, or if I think that, does that make me joyful and happy and more in alignment with who I am and who God says I am? Or does it make me feel small, and does it make me miserable? Does that thing or that person, that experience, does it create a healthy experience for me? Does this align with who I am and where I'm going? So ask yourself, what if it just was? What if it just is? What if we finally began to accept our story and accept ourselves, who we are, and we stop judging ourselves, and we stop putting ourselves on trial, and we stopped putting others on trial, and we stopped assuming the worst, and we stopped judging our experiences? How would that begin to shift your perspective? How would you feel differently about yourself and your life? How would it change our relationships, our connection, our intimacy? How would life change? I love that quote, that if your perspective about your situation changes, your situation changes. So oftentimes it's really not so much our experiences as it is our perception about our experiences, which usually is affected by our judgment. And judgment, oftentimes, because we're self-protective creatures, humans, that we are in survival in our existence of our life, and we are going to judge it negatively because self-protection feels safe. So many times we choose self-protection over true intimacy. when what we tell ourselves is that what we really want is to fall in love, or what we really want is to have that kind of connection with our spouse, or what we really want is to be connected with ourselves, or what we really want is to feel the peace of God. But we're the only ones, through our own judgments, that are keeping ourselves separate and disconnected and in suffering and in separation because of our self-protection, because it feels safe. We prefer our self-protection over our intimacy. And how would your life change if you just began to do something different? So this week, notice how quickly you judge others. Notice how you judge yourself. Notice what others say and what they do and what you say to yourself and how you treat yourself. Notice what you say about your life and how you perceive your life and what you say about your circumstances. And instead of judging so quickly, practice accepting and noticing, and just stay present in it. I always ask myself this question: if I were to not judge right here and I were to just be fully present in this moment, what is so wrong? Wow, that changes everything. So stay aware. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your heart. Allow and stay present without judgment. And notice how you experience much more peace and connection with yourself, with others, and with God. So if this is your reality, if your judgments are stealing your peace and your joy in your life, and they're ruining your relationships or taking the intimacy and the enjoyment out of your relationships, or if you're just struggling with some aspect of your life that you just want more, or you feel stuck and you don't know how to get out and do something different, I'd love to work with you one-on-one. Go to ConnieJonesCoaching.com for more details on my coaching packages. I have business and life coaching packages and leadership development packages. And contact me to begin our work together. And let's walk this journey together, because you can do so much more quicker and more powerfully and more effectively and efficiently with someone with accountability and support, and helping you begin to see the things that are holding you up, the things that are skewing your perspective, the judgments that are so quick to come into your mind. So if one-on-one coaching is not for you right now, I've also got a weekly women's coaching group. It's a small, intimate setting with women who meet on Tuesday mornings from 11 to 12:30, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And details on the women's coaching group are also available on ConnieJonesCoaching.com, and you can get more information there and the details on the group. Finally, join me next Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on Facebook Live on the Connie Jones Coaching page for a discussion about the power of reinventing yourself. Can't wait to see you next week, and hope you have a great rest of the week. Check out ConnieJonesCoaching.com.